Known as Guntown, USA, the city of Kennesaw is nationally known for their gun law under their city ordinances. We are here at City Hall to talk to Lieutenant Graydon about his stance on how this law affects crime statistics.
Well, basically, it's like we had discussed earlier, and that you mentioned in your class when the chief spoke, that it's hard to determine an exact correlation as how much impact, but there does seem to be some impact just from looking at the crime rate trends over the years and from talking to members of the public. When the city council passed the ordinance in 1982, the first year after, they saw a fairly substantial decrease in crime, what we call the Part 1 crimes, or the crimes that are tracked by the FBI: murder, rape, robbery, burglary, aggravated assault, things like that, of about 20-25%. So that, that's a fairly substantial decrease. And even though the city has grown tremendously over the last 25 years, when they passed the ordinance, the population was only about 3,000. We're 33, 34,000 now. When you adjust for population, our crime rate is actually lower now than it was prior to the passage of the gun law. The actual impact of the gun law will change, that usually more people will lead to more crime to some extent. What we've seen is the raw numbers have gone up over the years, but on a percentage basis, when you adjust for population, it's actually stayed lower. And that's what we hope will continue, that we won't see an increase or a spike in any type of violence, especially gun-related violence.
We interviewed local residents and business owners about their view of the gun ordinance.
No, I don't feel safer at all because Kennesaw is not a crime-ridden area. So I grew up in Birmingham. In the neighborhood I grew up in, there was a lot of crime. So I could see if your neighbors are steadily getting robbed or harm being brought onto people, then yeah.
I would say yes. I'm not a gun owner myself, but I can see where it will make you feel more safe, yes.
Crime statistics in Kennesaw have always been lower than the national level, according to the city's government site, since the ordinance was implemented, and continues to drop even as the city grows. When asked about students carrying concealed weapons on campus, Lieutenant Bankston had this to say.
As long as they've been cleared criminally, prior military, current law enforcement, or any civilian that's been through a safety course and that had their carry license, I'm open to it. I think it's a great idea.
McGill, local resident and KSU student, had this to say about the gun ordinance. I personally think that it's a little absurd to require every head of household in Kennesaw to own a gun. I am thankful that the law is not actively enforced, but that doesn't stop us from being recognized by out-of-towners as the town where everyone has to own a gun. I don't feel protected at all by this law. With the growth of the university and the addition of the football team next fall, Lieutenant Bankston had this to say about the future crime statistics on campus.
The growth of football, certain crimes, maybe not the criminal aspect of crimes, but maybe like the alcohol consumption crimes, stuff like that. But as far as the gun crimes and felonious type of crimes, I don't think that will have a big impact.